Hi, this is Larry Zorro. I just want to say hello to people new on my channel, and if you like the video, subscribe. If you want to like it, give it a thumbs up. But I'm going to show you some things from my garden. You know, I'm a born again Christian, spirit-filled, Jesus only kind of Christian, and God, the wisdom, gives me these ideas for gardening. I think I was made for a time like this, and I believe the coming of Jesus very soon, but we should be about working and doing some things, and I think gardening is the #1 thing we should be doing. Getting our own food. Be ye separate, saith the Lord. Touch not the unclean thing. And I hate to tell you, but a lot of the food out there is unclean. It's made out of recycled feces. It's got forever chemicals. It's heavy. Well, somebody said the other day, why don't you just pray over your food? Well, I do pray over my food. I'm thankful for it, but there's some things we have to do too, is to have a source of organic gardening. Go organic food, I mean. You know, and if you can't get it, you can't trust it. You're trusting it to people you know nothing about. You know, you don't have to. If you use that toxic waste from the water sewage treatment plant, they don't have to. You don't have to label it. They don't have to label it on your fertilizer or anything else. They can just put it on farmland, pasture land. It can leach into the water. There's prions. There's all kinds. There's forever chemicals. There's heavy metals. Just the other day I had a pineapple on a pizza. I don't know, a pineapple. They don't use, I don't think they use biosludge on that. And sure enough they do. Yeah, they found out the hard metals is in the fruit. Oh wow, man. You see, if you get bags under your eyes, I don't know if you could see. I think they were a lot worse. I think they were a lot worse before I started detoxing, but you know, that pizza last night, who knows what I got. Oh, you pray over it. But you know, God doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, but a lot of people have died of diseases. I think we're all shortening our life. If you like salad, you do what your mommy says. Your mama said, hey, eat your vegetables. Eat them. And you do that, you faithfully eat your vegetables, and you find out now they're polluted. Well, you drink your milk and eat your cheese, you find out the cow's been pastured on biosludge pasture land. And you know, yeah, you better pray, but I don't think God changes the elements of your food, because too many Christians have died. I think they're more or less like martyrs, because somebody's killing them. And it's probably due to their testimony. And if you read Seal 5, you'll find that out. And well, anyway, stay tuned. I'm going to do this video. You know, it might be longer, so I might have to post it on my, you know, not on my gardening channel, but I might have to do it on Larry Zorro's channel. And God bless you. Stay tuned. I'll show you some things, but not everything. I got more stuff to show, so stay tuned, subscribe, like I said, like the videos, and you'll be just hearing my voice now. I'm fading away. You'll be hearing my voice, though. You'll be hearing it. Yes, you will. You'll see pictures, too. All right, this is Larry Zorro. We're going to look at some pictures here, and let's get to the right place. Alright, we're going to start out with a panoramic view of my garden. It's a little larger than I probably need. But then again, if you're going to eat all your food, most of the food on your own property, you're going to need a large garden. You're going to need to grow corn. You're going to need to grow a lot of squash. And oh yeah, you can put cheese on that squash, and when it's grown organically, pure, it tastes heavenly. Here, start out with this big picture of my tomato plant. It's over 6 feet. I don't understand the idea that, you know, you grow too many leaves, you won't have enough tomatoes, you know, and well, you know, I want a lot of leaves because there's a lot of insects out there that like to eat them. and it's for cooling. You don't want your tomato plants, your tomatoes to be all scalded. Here's a plant that I overwatered. It's a little yellow. It's got 4 yellow squash plants, and yeah, it's that little bale or that little pillar. You know, it just absorbs the water, and you don't need to water it as much as I thought you would having 4 plants. Now you can see another one. This one actually dries out. A lot of it has to do with the soil you put in those pillars, the mix that you have. This one dries out, and it's already got some cantaloupe. This has been a complete failure. This is my potato trough, and I watered them too much, and the soil that I use, the topsoil that I buy, really like clay. It's like the soil off my property. You can water it too much and it'll just rot the spuds you put in there. So yeah, I've learned not to water until they come up. Then you can water them. But when they're young, don't water them so much. And here's another. This is just your standard zucchini. And oh, I got some pretty big ones there. Not that you're looking for big ones, but they grow fast. And mix that in with the yellow squash, some onions. You got yourself a meal. Maybe put a little ground beef in it. Now here is a picture of my corn plants. Somebody ate some insect. We got Japanese beetles and some insect ate the top right off. I'm kind of disappointed. Maybe I'll let it grow, see what happens. This is my other half of my corn. Yeah, that's not a whole lot. That just shows you one pillar. I got about 4, 5 on one side, about 5 on the other side. Field corn on the left side. On the right side, sweet corn. And the other way I'm pollinating is shaking it, the tassels, you know, just shaking them onto the silk, kind of shake them a little bit, and maybe that's good enough. I don't know. And here's what I'm trying, this, what do they call it, Cherokee tomato. I noticed in this climate, it really wilts. The leaves are just turn brown. So here's one. If you want to grow a tomato plant with very little leaves, this would be the one. I cut off some of those dead leaves. But yeah, it's producing, but it's they don't like the humid morning. Here's a plant that I overwatered when you can't help but overwater when you plant it. And it was dried up when I got it, but it's a yellow pear tomato, and I haven't watered it since I planted it, and it's finally taken off. I might have it by next year. No, it'll be too late. Here's my cantaloupe, and you can see it's already getting big. And let's see what we got here. This is going to be my new pathway. I sprinkle some clover. You put wood down, and the wood, it just dissolves, and you get all kinds of weeds. I think I want clover. Clover fixes nitrogen. A lot of times you can scoop up your pathway a little bit on the edges of your pillars, and you can use the soil. Wouldn't it be nice if it already had nitrogen in it? This is somebody, well, actually I should tell you, somebody had a book on straw bale. They showed a hay bale and had a few little weeds. And you go, look at there, look at the weeds. This is just your ground right there. A little place where I had my onions. You can see it, unless you're in the morning weeding all the time, almost day and night, it's going to look like this. And and I don't know about you, pillars the easy way, and you don't have a bunch of weeds. Now this plant right here is a bell pepper. I think all my plants that came up this year are bell pepper. I wanted Anaheim pepper, but bell pepper, you can see how bushy it is. Just be careful on the water on those things. And I don't know, they like it hot and they like it in the shade. You can grow it. This is a plant. I bought I'm one of those that buy sweet potatoes and I don't use them, and then they end up sprouting a little bit. Well, this is one of my sprouted ones, Maybe it'll give me a few potatoes. But I wanted it to kind of look pretty, kind of rustic. You see how those little twigs are holding the hay down there. It's like a pillar. It is a pillar. Echinacea, what do you think of that? Look at the echinacea, how big they are. You know, they attract bees, bumblebees, regular bees. You know, everybody's talking about how bees are dying out. Well, that's because they're putting biosolids in the farms, and that's toxic even to bees. But here, they're just all over the place. Bees are everywhere collecting their nectar, all kinds of bees. Yeah, they've left those places. I think they finally got it in their head. Hey, let's don't pollinate those fields. That's got toxic waste. Let's go to Larry's place. I think that's what they've done. Picture of my kale. Picture of my beets. Now I've done this a little differently. Insects, the Japanese beetle can actually bite through this tulle fabric. And yeah, I was surprised. They can eat through it. I don't think they do it all the time, but there might be holes in it. If there is a hole, I just kind of put a clothespin over it. But this, I have a new way of fastening it on the bottom because the bugs were getting up underneath it. And you just have a slip knot and put it around there, slip knot it in, it's tight. And there you go. It's sealed. This is my cucumber. It was starting to get yellow, but not due to overwatering, but not enough. And I got to keep my eye on this. I'm getting cucumbers. They're all sweet. I think I have an idea. You got to keep picking them, and you can't let them get too dried out. And you got to have a good soil. And a lot of factors to make sweet cucumbers. I think the most important one is don't let one cucumber get like 6 feet long, gigantos. No, it'll just sap up all the nutrients in the soil and the rest of it will be bitter. That's my idea. Here's another good picture of the slip knot that I use. And my lettuce, a couple of caterpillars, yeah, they climb up underneath that tulle fabric. I planted some seeds, put some more soil around it. I could still use some of that lettuce. And yeah, it's cleaned out from those caterpillars. And this is a way if you want to do it with a narrow piece of stick, if you're afraid that the tulle fabric might rip through, put a cup on top. Now this is one. This is a trial. This is like 4 pepper plants. It can grow as large as it wants. I'll just keep adding cages on it. I think it's 2 cages on it right now. And oh yeah, it looks healthy. I water it at the below. Oh, some more of my pepper plants here. Oh, this is some of them grown in a basket. See how they turn out. This is a tomato plant. And here's a good picture of pumpkin. Yeah, I didn't grow that thing. It grew on its own, and I just left it in the pathway. You can see it wants to take over everything. But I got pillars. If pillars are, like this cilantro right here, pillars are high enough, they'll have that protection. And yeah, let's see what else we got here. Can you see? Can you see something? And one of the few radishes I have left. And can you see that? I'll do a close up here. It's a lizard. Oh yeah. I think they call him a skink or a skank. I don't know, but it's one of those kind of lizards, real slick. This is, potatoes are forming. And the thing is, you could put too much hay on top. I'm not really into having too much hay on top now because it actually absorbs the moisture. It's great on the sides of your pillar, but on top, you don't want it absorbing all the moisture. You want it to get into that core soil. And here's a picture of my seeds, some of my spinach. I'm just letting it dry out there. Now here's a picture of 2 happy Japanese beetle. I didn't know they like basil, but they do. I got plenty of basil. They can eat that. In fact, I'd rather have them eat it. And, oh yeah, they're having fun. Look at that. They're going to make babies. Yeah. Going to lay some eggs, make some babies. Now this is my new way. I want all my yard to look like that. If I could do it, I would do all my acres that way too. You see that? I used a scythe. You get unsightly tall weeds, especially the plantain. It'll have like a little pod of seeds up there. You just cut it down. And real easy, because you're not cutting the grass, you're not cutting your clover. You want your clover, white Dutch, you want your clover to grow as high as you can. And these grasses, you know, these orchard grass or something that's underneath these trees, they don't grow that large either. But look at that, isn't that pretty? You know, no mow, no mow. They can't say, well, look at Larry Zorro, he didn't mow his yard. Well, they wouldn't even know it. It looks so great. I like my backyard. This is a new treatment here, a new process. You'll first to see it, you freeze up a cup. Say you get a cup of iced coffee, caramel maybe at McDonald's. You drink it, you take the cup home, you fill it up with water, you put it in the freezer space. You know you don't have your freezer filled up, so you got a little space there. You fill up a cup. And then when you go out, now these are my like seed generators. You don't really need to have the wire cage around it, but they're my seed generators. And when they form the seed, you just let it go wild. You let that seed just blow on your property and seed itself. Yeah, I want seed. Now, you know, if they was in the ground, it'd probably just die. It's too dry. And, well, yeah, it's a hard way to do it. But I was thinking about doing some for clover, too. I'm not really too sure on that. You know, you don't really, if you're going to mow your field, yeah, you don't really want lumps in it. But then again, if it's not too high, if your pillar's not too high, it could level out in the rain. Now, this is a good close-up of the ice cup. And this is after 3 hours. You can see there's still ice and it's dripping. And I measured it with a moisture meter, and it's been hot, 90-degree heat, and this thing is wet. You could do that with some of your gardening plants. You know, say you're going to go on a trip, or you don't feel like watering in the morning. Well, yeah, you could do this. You could fill up your cups, put them in your freezer, buy yourself a little freezer, and that's what you can do. Well, that's all I'm going to show you today, what's going on. What have I been eating? I've been eating squash. I've been eating a little potato. One potato was too much in the shade, and I took it out and I put it somewhere. I yanked it up out of the ground. And, you know, I had some roots. So what I'm doing is I put it in another pillar more in the sun. Yeah, I've been eating most of those potatoes anyway, so... You know, little tiny, what do they call it, young potatoes or new potatoes, I think. But anyway, well, this is Larry Zorro. If you want food, you can do it. You can do it, but you need some property, at least 5 acres, I would say, because you need the grass. You need a field. And I'm going to show you more of this management, because you really don't want to fill the weeds. You know, and if you don't have the equipment, you really don't want to mow it with a tractor, and you don't want to have to mow it at all. I think a little scything like I do in that front yard, if I could have my whole field like that, that would be great. But yeah, clover's rich in nitrogen. Well, this is Larry Zorro. God bless. Take care. See you next time. This video is a little hard on archine biosolids feces. Shit. We mean, well, we're into population control to make the world smaller so you can have a better life. Eat your veggies. Do it today. Do your part of doing biosolids in everything you eat. You will not be disappointed when you're dead. Ha ha ha!